Hey there, super friends. This is Joey with Last Point Gaming. Today is Wednesday, January 23rd, 2019. And can we just appreciate that I haven't borked the year yet? What day it is, what day of the week it is, yeah. But the year? Nah, I've been 100% on that one. So, yesterday I talked about the KCI ban, and for over the next, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks, however long, we're really going to be focusing on Standard, because I really need to put something together for Baltimore. And as I'm looking at this bright, shining new Standard format and beholding all of its glory, I have one question for the universe. Who the fuck thought Wilderness Reclamation was a good idea? Like, seriously. I want to know about the group. I'm going to turn it here. The group of people sitting around a table, and one of them goes, "Hey, folks, you know what would be great?" And the rest of them all go, "Oh, man, yeah!" And nobody said, I don't know. I don't think that's such a good idea. Oh, by the way, I am leaving our other office that I talked about before, that the reason I didn't record the one day last week. So, it's going to be a little longer. I'm trying with the sunroof vented again, which seemed to do okay yesterday. It's going to be a lot of highway, and there's probably going to be a lot of, damn it, I went the wrong way. So, I don't know though, I was just here last week, so let's see if I can remember how to work this. Anyway, so yeah, I played against the Wilderness Reclamation deck, Bant Nexus with Reclamation. I ended up conceding because I probably should have conceded sooner. Like, I'm pretty sure I was locked out of the game at that point, but, I did let it keep going, but then, like, the episode of my show I was watching on Netflix stopped, and the next episode started playing, and it was late. I was like, no, we're done here. And, like, I couldn't even really be mad about it. It just hilarious shenanigans going on. It's not like when you lose to Teferi or, Just Guy Control, where it's just very straightforward. I don't want you to have fun. It actually took me a while to figure out what my opponent was doing. It was pretty adorable. Alright. So far, the first place I usually screw up, I got in the correct lane. We're making progress here. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and side with Todd Anderson on this one. I look for Wilderness Reclamation to get banned at some point during its time in Standard. Alright, everybody, gather around the fire here. I have some Mama Joey story time. Back in the Theros Indicons Standard, there was a deck that I always called the Ashiok deck. It was a blue-black control deck, and it played Ashiok. I want to say that was Weaver of Nightmares or something along those lines. I couldn't beat that deck. I couldn't beat that deck when played by a real control player. When played by somebody who picked it up because it happened to be a top-performing deck in the format that didn't really understand the nuances of playing that deck well, I generally did pretty well. But against, real seasoned control players that know, that live that mindset, I couldn't beat it. So husband decided he wanted to build it. And I thought, this will be good. He can teach me how to play control, And no, I didn't become fluent in control in any way, shape, or form. I can bumble my way through a control matchup with a really, really good deck, and my opponent probably having a really, really not great deck. But that's about the extent of it. But I did learn a lot about how control works and how to play around control. So, from that aspect, it was a very positive experience. But husband didn't build blue-black control, he built Sultai control. And it was Sultai for mainly 2 cards. There may have been a little other green splashage in there, because, while you're splashing, you might as well make it worthwhile. But Garruk, Apex Predator, was a really good planeswalker. I don't care what anybody else says. Speaking of which, where the hell has Garruk been? Can he come back, maybe? I don't care that he's Veil Cursed. He got, really good once he got Veil Cursed. Actually, Primal Hunter wasn't a bad planeswalker as far as planeswalkers went. But, I don't know. I like Dark and Disturbed Garruk. That was pretty cool. So, oh, look at you being all nice, clearing the lane for me. Thank you. Alright, 1 second here. I'm gonna put my window down. Alright. So, there was Apex Predator, and then there was another card, Prophet of Crufix. And you may be thinking, but Joey, I played in that standard. I don't remember Prophet of Crufix. I remember Courser of Crufix. Of course. Nobody played Prophet of Crufix that I can recall. But we did. And it was similar. Now, it was a 5-drop, if I recall correctly, and it was like a 2/5 body. Untap all your creatures and lands on your... It was either every untap step you did it, or on your end step. And, yeah, husband and I were like, well, that's living the dream. I get to take my turn and your turn. This seems fantastic. Because it allows you the flexibility to say, okay, let's look at why is Teferi so obnoxiously good. Well, he's a very powerful 3 CMC planeswalker. Because effectively he is. Now, you can't play him until turn 5, but so long as he survives the turn 5, and believe me, when playing against blue-white control, I have often, decided to hold up the Vraska's Contempt on their turn 5. Unfortunately, control is much more patient than I am, or control players. So they'll wait for the better opportunity. But I've done it. I've held up the Vraska's Contempt, waiting for them to drop the Teferi. Once they get past 5 mana, though, once they get past 6 mana, it's pretty useless, because once they get 7 or more, there we go. It's pretty useless holding up any hate for it, because now they can cast him and play a counterspell in the same turn. But when you're not holding up things to deal with Teferi, and they play him turn 5, and they plus him, that means they get to hold up the counterspell on their turn. So, whoa, that was a little scary, because that noise started right behind me. Oh. So, Prophet of Crufix, kind of had the same thing going on, where it's see, now I don't have to worry about doing the things I need to do at sorcery speed or in my main phase, and then not being able to hold up counters and prioritizing, do I need to do this sorcery speed thing, or is it more important to hold up a counter? Now I get to do both. I want to say you got to untap your stuff on everybody's untap step, not just yours. Which makes it even a little bit more different than Wilderness Reclamation. And not entirely sure better. It never occurred to me to try to get multiples of them on the field at the same time so you could tap out all your mana in response to the trigger for it to untap, and like the crazy crap that Todd was doing with this whole thing. But yeah, this card is... When I first saw it, I was like, yeah, nobody played Profix. Like, when I would play it, people would look at me like I was crazy. Because everybody had to read the card, and they're like, wow, that card's really bad. Now, it was more mana. It was on a creature body, which are notoriously easier to deal with. And like I said, it may have been... I should have looked it up, but it's been a day. It may have even been, instead of on end step, it was during the untap step. I'm not sure why that would actually make too much of a difference, but sure. Well, I guess because your opponent untaps too. So, yeah, when I first saw Wilderness Reclamation, I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. Whatever. But seeing that card in action and the crazy degenerate shit you can do, especially when you get multiple of them out, ugh. Just blah. It was a fun match, though. Like, I was less irritated during the entire time of watching them play, 3 Nexus of Fate since my last turn. It was at least neat to watch. But yeah, I'm thinking Reclamation's going to end up banned because the Nexus of Fate build is what I was playing against last night. It's not the only direction you can go with it. So banning Nexus, saying, oh, okay, well now they can't essentially have infinite turns. By the way, Nexus of Fate was also just another one that I'm like, who the hell passed this one? It's not that it's a time walk effect. We've had many of them over the years. It's an infinite recursion time walk. Unless somebody can snag it from the graveyard. I'd have to even check the wording on that. If it even actually goes to the graveyard. It's the fact that Nexus shuffles back into the library. No matter where it would hit the graveyard from. That is what makes that card inherently broken. A fair number of time walk effects get exiled when you play them the first time. And somebody thought having a recursive time walk was a good idea. What the fuck, yo? Really? Really? How did we not see this one being a bad thing? But, the Nexus Fog deck was kind of hit or miss. Even during its, shiny period in Standard. And then it kind of fell to the wayside. And now that we've got the Simic mana, I guess Simic and Azorius, we're seeing it again, and now it has this new toy. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens there. Part of me wants to, say, screw it, I'm just gonna build something like that. But, yeah, now I can't play that shit. It is just not my style at all. So here, Todd had red, green, blue. What is that? Red, green, blue. I mean, aside from Rug. Was that an Alara shard? I don't know. Anyway, he was doing it with, gigantic expansion explosions. Oh, that's Teamer. Okay. But yeah, he was doing, gigantic expansion explosion with it. The explosion side, of course. Wow. The guy on that ambulance chaser law firm billboard looks kind of like Peter Capaldi. Weird. So there's all kinds of degenerate things you can do with this. Mostly involving blue, of course, because... Why did... whatever. But yeah, that card's scary. In any case, moving forward, I am not playing blue. Nope. However, I did get to listen to Jim Davis. I listened to him live stream a bit today, and I listened to some of his YouTube videos, so I'm not really sure where this one came from. Oh, you know what? It was his video on the Cool Stuff Inc. YouTube channel. Because Jim is a content creator for them now. That's what it was. The Rakdos Spectacle deck. Also 12 bolt. You know, however you want to call it. That I think has 8 creatures in the main. Oh no, it's 12. Because you have the Fanatical Firebrands, you have the Gitu Lava Runners, and the Vrishnu Pyromancers. 4 of each. 4 Skewer the Critics, 4 Wizard's Lightning, 4 Lightning Strike, 4 Shock, 4 Sovereign's Bite, of all cards. Light Up the Stage, Theater of Horrors. And, yeah, this deck looks very nice. So last night I was putting together, like, I basically stripped all the red out of, no, what deck was that? Oh, the Mardu deck I was playing with on Arena. And I wasn't willing to spend too many wild cards on lands. But I think I'm going to get all my black-red lands because I feel like I'm going to be using them. And I'm definitely putting this deck together because I think I actually have the vast majority of this deck. In pricing out cards that I don't explicitly know I have, it was like $30 for this deck. And it looks exactly my speed. Like, what does your deck do? Damage. Oh, okay. Yeah, just enough said. That is an accurate description of what that deck does. Plus, it's got, you know, card advantage. I will say, Light Up the Stage and Theater of Horrors, best red card advantage there has ever been. Now, Theater is red-black. It's not straight red. But still very, very worth it. I know in a lot of the drafts I did on Arena, ill-gotten inheritance. Oh man, talking's hard. Like, my water bottle's empty, my coffee's empty, and my throat's getting all dry. Anyway, ill-gotten inheritance was one of those cards I would highly prioritize because it's a passive damage source, and most people, especially in the best of one. Oh wait, I was playing traditional draft. It's the only alliance or allegiance draft there is right now. There's not a whole lot of enchantment removal in allegiance. There's Mortify, and that might be about it. So, focus. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Ill-Gotten Inheritance. In the one draft that I actually managed to pull, I think 2 Theater of Horrors. That was actually ended up being a neat little combo. It was unintentional that I did it. Like, I played the Theater of Horrors turn 3, and turn 4 played the Ill-Gotten Inheritance. I don't think my eyes like the eyeliner I used today. But, yeah, when Ill-Gotten Inheritance goes off, it turns on Theater of Horrors. So, that was fun. I think that was the one that I went, like, was it 6 or 7's top? I maxed out my wins with no losses. because that combo was just fantastic. Also, Ill-Gotten Inheritance is just fantastic with any spectacle stuff you got going on. Because on your upkeep, it just immediately pings them. So, there's just... Yeah, so not only is it a passive damage source, but turns on all your spectacle stuff. And that was pretty awesome. It's pretty groovy. Now, Jim's list, of course, does not have Ill-Gotten Inheritance, because Ill-Gotten Inheritance is not really a very aggro card. It's a 4-drop that doesn't do anything the moment you play it. Costs 6 to pop it, which is generally how I won out those games, is once I got them low enough before they had any chance to find an answer, I would just, pop it and drain them for 4 to kill them. Oh, God, I hope that audio quality was better. Like, it was worth doing that. So, it's not an aggro card, like, at all. But, I don't know. Personally, I kind of want to throw it in the sideboard of that deck. Just because there's one theater in the main and a second one in the sideboard. Which... I gotta say, it seems a little bit weird to me. Like, it seems like you would either commit to the main board theater plan or have determined that it's a sideboard functionality. But, I don't know, he 5-0'd a quote-unquote league. The traditional constructed event on Arena with it, so... Jim Davis probably knows better than me. And not just because he 5-0'd the traditional league-style ladder. Man, why is traffic so bad through here? So... Wow, it didn't take me near as long to get home from there as I thought it would. So, yeah, tonight, Faith comes over. Like, we're actually getting together this week. It's been, I don't know, like a month. So, I'm not going to have much, if any, chance to grind on Arena. Depends on what time I get Girly McBabyface back in her crib. Because usually after I get her back to the crib, I, go out in the garage and I smoke a cigarette and I play a match on Arena or two. To, basically I try to give it like an hour-ish to make sure she stays down and, doesn't like immediately wake up. Because I actually find it more taxing when she wakes up like right as I'm falling asleep after putting her to bed. Where you just get to that nice out phase and all of a sudden get... I really don't know what that bloop bloop noise means. Probably something with my GPS. And then all of a sudden you're, ripped back to the waking world. Not to mention then it disturbs husband. And we have a pretty good system worked out where I'm the one who puts her down for the night. And he goes to bed, earlier than I do. And then when she gets up sometime between 4 and 6 a.m., he gets up with her and I get to sleep. And it seems to really be the best, approach there. So, I might get to play a couple games with it tonight, but I am going to try to grind a bunch of it tomorrow. But I'm also going to listen to content creators tomorrow and everything. Oh, there won't be an episode tomorrow, too. Because I have to take Girly McBabyface to the doctor for her follow-up appointment. So, that'll be good. That means, come Friday, hopefully there will be a recording. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of last week. I'll be able to tell you more about this deck and my thoughts on it, and changes that I've decided need to be made, and all that kind of happy stuff. So, I guess I should just go right over and pick them up. But yeah, so that should be exciting and fun and a joy for all, and I should be able to give you some feedback, because I think Rakdos is going to be what I end up playing in Baltimore, just because it is probably the fastest and dirtiest deck you can put together, and that's going to be what I personally will be able to potentially do well with. So that's where we're at. I am at the kids' daycare, so I'm gonna let you all go there. As always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I'll talk to you all on Friday.